Welcome, and we'll start, of course, with our bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Amen.
So yesterday we were talking about the Levites. Golda, you brought up a number of the Levites.
Yeah.
And so as you can see, I did a little bit of research. I had a chance to actually do a little research.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the original counting of the Levites. The reference is Numbers chapter 3, verse 39. You'll find that the total number of the three families is 22,000. That's given there. Chapter 3, verse 39. Check it out. Yep.
Okay.
I just checked it out. So
I must have missed something then.
No, I'm pretty certain that what you were doing is they're divided into three families, and the census of each of the three families is given in that as they move towards 22,000. So what you were doing was you were giving me the number of one of the families, just one of them. Still not much. It might be small.
Well, these were like 30 years to 50, I think. That was the, that was
oh, yes.
That might be what I saw.
Possibly.
Okay.
That's quite possible. That's quite possible.
Said,
because this is 5 years old and up.
Oh, there it is. I see it. I didn't highlight that. So that's why I couldn't find it.
Okay. All right, let's okay, so we're going to keep going on here, and there's really quite a lengthy Rashi that's going to come up. That's we'll see if we can make sense out of it. All right, so B'nai Shimon. Now we're onto the tribe of Shimon, right? We had the number of the Reubenites. Now we're on the Shimon, and Shimon is, as you can see, remember Zimri was from the tribe of Shimon. Right, so B'nai Shimon le'mishpachotam, the children of Shimon, according to their families, le'nemuel mishpachat hanemueli. You remember that beautiful Rashi yesterday, where every name starts with a hey and ends with a yod, except the one name which already has a yod at the beginning and a hey at the end, right?
Yeah, we did the stuff about the earth swallowing up the other guys.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
That's in the tribe of Reuben, Datan and Abiram. Remember, I mentioned
right.
it, and Rashi mentioned it. So here we go. Look at this. This is the example, right? Okay, Lemuel hanemueli, leyamin mishpachat hayamini, right? The second son, Yamini, leyachin mishpachat hayachini. You don't need me to translate this, I'm assuming, right? You can figure it out. Or if you need me to do it word for word, I'm happy to do it. You just let me know. What do you say? Can you make it out?
We're fine.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, it's okay, David. Go ahead.
Go ahead and translate if you don't mind. So
I don't. Okay. So here, Nemuel, 4 Nemuel, right? Or 2 Nemuel, counting the family of Nemuel. That's one of the sons of Shimon. Mishpachat, the family of Hanemueli, the Nemuelites. And then Liyamin, for Yamin, another name here. Mishpachat, the family of Hayamini, right? Leyachin, these all names. Yachin, Mishpachat, family of Hayachini, the Yachinites. The Zerach, Mishpachat Hazarchi, to Zerach, the family of the Zerachites. The Shaul Mishpachat HaShauli. And for Shaul, interesting, by the way, because this is Saul, right? But obviously not King Saul. He has the same name. Mishpachat, the family of the Saulites. Now, there is a Rashi, a lengthy Rashi on this, as you can see. Major Rashi. So he's talking about Zerach. And I guess if you look carefully at some of the previous genealogies of the tribe of Shimon, it doesn't say Zerach, it says Sochar. So you can see, first of all, the Z and the Tsa are somewhat similar, and you've got the change around of the transposition of the Resh and the Chet. At any rate, Rashi's telling you it's the same person, okay? Lashon Sohar. It's brightness, right? That both Zerach, we talk about Zarach Hashemesh, the sun rose, right? It brought forth its brightness. And the word Sohar also has the meaning of brightness. Aval Mishpachat, I'm going to say Ohad, okay? I'm guessing because I don't have the vowels here.
It says Ohad here.
Okay, thank you. Ohad, well, good. And if I make a mistake, you'll please correct me, okay? But the family of Mohad, Betela, they had become extinct. V'chein chamesh mishevet Binyamin. And likewise, 5 of those sons of Benjamin had become extinct by this time. Sheharei ba'asara banim yarad lemitzrayim, because in fact, Benjamin came down to Egypt with 10 sons. They're all mentioned. Okay, Vekan, but here, lo mana, he only counts ela chamisha. We haven't gotten to it yet, but when we get to Benjamin, you'll see only 5 of his sons are mentioned. V'chein itzbon legad, and like also similarly, God, the son Itzbon is extinct. Harei sheva mishpachot. So we have in fact 7 families. Umatzati b'Gemara Yerushalmi, and I found in the Jerusalem Talmud, sometimes called the Palestinian Talmud, and I will never forget reading in the let's see, it must have been the Post, was it the Post Dispatch, right? Was it the Press Democrat? No, Press Democrat is Sonoma County, correct?
That's
Yeah.
Globe Democrat, but that's
Good.
it's been gone for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Post-Dispatch is St. Louis, yeah.
Right, St. Louis, right? There was an article there that the Palestinians, that is the current Palestinians, had their Talmud because they saw it said Palestinian Talmud. So I was thinking, boy, a little knowledge. All right, so it's known as the Jerusalem Talmud because there are actually 2 Talmuds. There's the Babylonian Talmud, which is the one that is studied for the most part and has the most authority and considered the most authoritative. And there's also the Jerusalem Talmud, which is, I mean, this guy is just amazing. The amount of information is just, it's more than a lifetime. I'm telling you, it's incredible. All right, and likewise, so he's telling you the actual tractate in the Jerusalem Talmud. And the Jerusalem Talmud is divided differently. In the Babylonian Talmud, the references are given by page numbers, side A and side B, folio pages. But in the Jerusalem Talmud, they're still done by chapters. So Perek Aleph, okay? So I think he's saying, unless he's talking here about the Babylonian Talmud. Okay, but they are chapters in the Babylonian, in the Palestinian Talmud, forgive me. And Yoma, the tractate Yoma, that's about Yom Kippur. And I think he's saying Perek Aleph, chapter 1.
Yeah, he's saying, and here it says Talmud Yerushalmi,
Yerushalmi.
Sota 1:1. But it
Okay.
says, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you what it says here. It says
Okay.
Yerushalmi.
Really, that's it's a misprint.
Okay.
Yeah, the I and the L
Oh,
on
I see. It's an L, but there's no vowel there. So it does say, so it says Yerushalmi.
Yerushalmi. Yeah, you just have to pop in the patach
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Okay, Shekeshemet Aaron. This is the midrash that gives you the basis of these extinction of these several tribes. Shekeshemet Aaron, that when Aaron died, Nistalku anane kavod, the clouds of glory, which are the clouds. Okay, so clouds are protective. You know, you talk about the Ein Hara, the evil eye. That has to do with people's seeing something that you have that is special, that stands out, and that they feel jealous about. They have a jealous feeling towards that. That's the basis of the evil eye, that they don't. So to be modest, right? To not stick out, not be people's faces, is a way to prevent the evil eye. And here we're talking about, so these clouds represent divine protection, anane kavod. And kavod is a word which translates as glory, but actually has the connotation of presence, divine presence. So these clouds are the divine presence that were protecting the Jewish people, nistalku, they disappeared. And again, there's this principle, right? This is sort of opening up a whole other sorts of subjects, right? But specifically about the influence of a powerful individual regarding an entire group. And Aaron, yeah, go ahead. It's okay.
Is this saying this is why these 7 families went extinct?
Yes, in a moment he'll explain it. He'll spell it out. So he's saying initially, when Aaron died, these clouds of God's protection disappeared. Uva'u hakna'anim, and the Canaanites came, lehilachem, to wage war by Yisrael with Israel. Natnu lev lachazor, and these families, right, decided to return leMitzrayim, to Egypt. They didn't want to follow through. They lost heart. They decided to go back to the land of Egypt. V'chazru la'acharohem, and they retreated. Chet masaot, 8 stages, right? We have the very last Sedra or Parsha of Numbers is Mas'eh, and it means the stages of the journey. And in that Parsha, they list the various stages that the Israelites were encamped at on their way to the land of Canaan, from Egypt to the land of Canaan. So it gives their journeys. That's another, probably journeys is a better translation. Anyway, they went back 8 journeys. Me Hor Hahar. Hor Hahar is the place where Aaron died. Le Mosera to Mosera. How do we know that? Well, there's a strange passage in Deuteronomy, Devarim, as it states, Shene'emar always introduces a quote from the Bible, right? It's a technical word. It means as it says, but when it means that, because there are no quotation marks, so it introduces a quotation from the Bible specifically, right? Uvnei Israel, this is the quotation, and the children of Israel, Nasu, they journeyed, mi be'erot b'nei Ya'akan, that's the, Be'er is a spring of b'nei Ya'akan, it's the name of a place, Mosera to Moserot, okay? Sham met Aaron, and there Aaron died. Well, wait a second, you just heard something else, didn't you? You heard that Aaron died at Hor Hahar, and he says, V'halo b'Hor Hahar mate. But wait a second, he says, but he died at Hor Hahar. Umi Mosera ad Hor Hahar, and from Mosera, if you go to that passage in Mas'eh and you look from Mosera, which is one of their encampments, until Hor Hahar, Shmona Masaot, are 8 stages. There are 8 stages. Yesh Lamafreya, before it. In other words, so here we go. Ela shechazru la'acharohem. But these families went backwards. They retreated. So, I mean, because it's saying they went from Beirut Bnei Yakan to Mosera. Okay, and we know that the truth is that that eventually they came to Hor Hahar. And so if you go backwards, it's Mosera is what Rashi is trying to tell us. So they retreated, Viradfu b'nei Levi, and the children of Levi pursued them, acharehem, pursued them, in other words, pursued after them, literally, lahachziram, to bring them back, to make them return. V'hargu mehem sheva mishpachot, and they killed 7 of the families.
The Levi'im killed 7 of the families?
Yes, we know that the Levi'im were very passionate. Remember when the Israelites worshipped the golden calf at Mount Sinai? Do you remember? Well, Moses asked his fellow Levites. None of the Levites worshiped Baal, worshiped the golden calf, the Egel HaZahav, and they went around with Moses afterwards, and they slew people who were worshiping the golden calf. So, yep. There's some statements in the Talmud about the responsibilities of the children of Levites. Umi b'nei Levi, but from the people of Levi, naflu arba mishpachot, 4 families died. So it's possible that in that particular encounter, right, where they killed 7 of these families, the Levites themselves lost 4 families. Mishpachat Shim'i ve'Uzieli, so the families of Shim'i and Uzieli, Umi b'nei Yitzhar lo nimnu kan, and the children of Yitzhar, okay, were not counted here. Ela mishpachat hakorchi. So there are a few. So Yitzhar had. I'm trying to think. Okay. So there was also Yitzhar. I think he's one of these brothers. Okay, and they're only counted here the family of Korach, Revi'it. And as to the fourth family, Lo Yadati Mahi, and I do not know. Mashi's saying to us personally, he says, I do not know what that Mahi sounds like what it was, what that family was. What does it say, Lauren? Does it say anything helpful there?
Yeah, it says this is what you just said, basically.
Okay, all right. I'll keep going then. For Rabbi Tanchuma and Rabbi Tanchuma, this means the Midrash called the Tanchuma. There is a Midrash on the Torah called the Tanchuma. It's extant. In fact, there are two versions of it, and it's a very cool Midrash. And it's not quite as sophisticated as the Midrash Rabbah. But there's certainly, of course, parallels in the Midrashim. So he darash, right? He interprets shemetu b'magefa, that they died in the plague b'devar Bil'am, regarding the matter of Bil'am. So go
I
ahead.
was going to say here it explains that when the they is the 7 Israelite families who.
Right. That's clarification. Yes, thank you.
Right.
Right. So in other words, this story about the 7 families retreating and the Levites going after them, etc., Tanchuma explains it in a different way, right? That they died in the plague that followed when the Israelites went whoring after the Moabite women. Yeah. Aval lefi hachesron. But if you look carefully, Rashi's got a question on that interpretation. He's questioning that interpretation. He says, because if you look at the reduction, shechasar mishevet Shimon, that if you look at the comparison between the number in Shimon here and the number in that original census back in Exodus, beminyan zeh, chaser mishevet Shimon beminyan zeh, in this particular counting, miminyan harishon, Shebemidbar Sinai, compared to that first census taken in the wilderness of Sinai, near it appears Shekol Kaf Dalet Elef. We know it says that 24,000 Israelites died in this particular plague. And guess what the reduction is? If you look at the comparison between the tribe of Shimon in the first counting and the tribe of Shimon now, guess how many you find? 24,000. Okay.
Actually, it's more than that.
Right. So he's saying that it appears that the entire, thank you though, Golda, thank you, that the entire 24,000 Naflu Mishivto Shel Shimon died in the tribe of Shimon. So he is raising an objection to that Tanchuma interpretation. Is it a compelling objection? Not necessarily, but certainly there's some merit to that objection. For several reasons, of course, because of the whole point that the Torah makes about Zimri being a priest in the tribe of Shimon. So, I mean, and of course, we have this alternative explanation in the Yerushalmi as to what happened here. So,
it's 37,100 is the difference.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot. They had almost
Initially.
60,000. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll
Unless I read it wrong.
Well, we're going to fact check you. You'll know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. That's okay. All right. So let's go back now.
It does not bother me.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, it says in the Pirkei Avot, you should love correction. Love being
Absolutely.
corrected. I agree. It's something you have to train yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing how many people have
but,
a real problem with that.
It's 59.3 in the first spot, and it's 22.2 here. So yeah, it's a lot.
So I'm going to.
You're going to put those in now.
Right. I'm going to write down those numbers in a moment. Okay.
Yep.
Ela mishpichot hashimoni. These represent the families of the Shimonites. Shnaim ve'esrim elef, which was 220,000 umatayim and 200. So they had
Right.
less than, just 200 more than the Levites back in that original counting. But here we're talking about the Shemonites. And I'm going to go in here. All right. And in a second, so we're going to put 22,200. Now, Golda, tell me that original number again, please.
59,300.
Okay.
And you put those in parentheses last.
Correct. Yes. 59,000.
300.
Okay. Wow.
That's
Huge.
a big.
That is a
yeah.
big drop. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. 37,100 people. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Bnei God, the children of God, the Mishpachotam. Let me just make sure we don't leave out any. Okay, so there's verse 16 we need to look at, okay, in the Rashi. So, right. The children, the sons of God, the Mishpachotam, according to their families, Litzfon Mishpachat Hatzfoni. So for Tzfon, the family of the Tzephonites. The Chagi, Mishpachat HaChagi, so the family of the Chagites. The Shuni, Mishpachat HaShuni, so the family of the Shunites. The Ozni, for Ozni, Mishpachat HaOzni, so according to the family of Ozni. The Eri, Mishpachat HaEri, so the family. Okay, all right, okay. So let's go. Ozni. Omer ani, I say, according to, this is Rashi giving his opinion, Shezo, that Ozni is Mishpachat Etzbon, that so he's comparing the families mentioned earlier on when the genealogy are given in the earlier genealogy, and there's some changes, and he's saying he's identifying with them with Etzbon. The Eni Yodea, and I have no idea, he says, Lama lo nikret mishpachto al shemo. He doesn't know why the family isn't named after him. So Rashi is himself, asking questions that he cannot answer at this point in terms of the changes of the text. All right, let's go on. Okay, back here. Where are we here? Okay. Le'arod mishpachat ha'arodi, for Arod with the family of the Arodites. I'm trying to make sure I have. Okay. Le'arel, to Arel mishpachat ha'areli, the family of the Arelites. Ela mishpachot b'nei God. These are the families of the children of God, lifkudehem, according to their mustering. Arba'im elef, that would be 40,000, the chamesh ma'ot, and 500. So let's get that in. $40,000. Okay, and the other number.
Okay, is 45,650.
Okay.
There you go.
And I need to put in the parens.
Mhm.
So they were reduced as well. Less there.
Yep.
Bnei Yehuda, the children of Yehuda, Er ve'onan. He had those two children, Er ve'onan, but we also know Vayamot Er ve'onan, that those two children, Er and Onan, died be'eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. We know the little story behind all of that. Vayiyu v'nei Yehuda l'mishpachotam, and the sons of Judah, or the children of Judah, according to their families. L'Shela, so Shela was one of those Mishpachat HaSheloni, the family of the Shelonites. Leferetz Mishpachat HaPartzi, to Peretz, the family of the Perizzites. Lezerach Mishpachat HaZarchi, and to Zerach, the family of the Zerachites. I think we're in pretty good shape here.
And we have that name twice.
No
Yes,
Rashi until verse
24.
24.
Yeah,
We
right.
have that, Zerach is in Shimon also.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
it can happen. Okay. But thank you for noticing that, Golda, because I would not have caught that. Vayu vnei Peretz, and the children of Peretz, Chetzron, so they also counted as individual families. Chetzron mishpachat haChetzroni, Chetzron, the family of the Chetzronites, the Chamul mishpachat haChamuli, and to Chamul, the family of the Chamulites. Ela mishpachot Yehuda l'fkudehem. These are the families of Yehuda, of Judah, according to their counting, the mustering. Shisha v'shivim elef. So 76,000, the Chamesh Me'ot, and 500. So let me put that in. See where that came. I don't see it. There it is. That was 76,500, correct?
Yes, and here we have a gain.
Yes, I am not surprised.
Not a huge gain, but a gain.
It's still a gain, yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with it.
So it's 74,600.
Right. Okay. All about character.
Yes.
Okay. Next, and this is they were together. I think this is counting them around the way they were counted around the tent of meeting, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember that Yisachar and Zevulun. Let's see if that's the next one. Yeah, here's Yisachar and there's Zevulun. They were.
There's a couple of them that are reversed from the beginning of Numbers, but which I screwed up going back and forth a couple of times. So yeah, it's the only reason I know this.
Got it. So B'nai Yisachar lemishpachotam. Ooh, it is time. We better stop right here. Forgive me. So even though it's like reading stock prices, I realize. If you're interested, well, the point is that if you own stock, then you're interested in it.
Right.
And I'll stop the share. It did go quickly, I have to say, and I'm going to stop the recording. And thank those who have joined us this morning on the recording. Thank you.